Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We are brought to you by Russell and Associates, and we're coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. And we are joined this week, as always, by football head coach Brian Bergstrom. Congratulations on the win on Saturday. I don't really want to sway that any, but tell us, I know last week you talked about wanting to come out stronger, come out faster, and it seems like the team answered the bell this week.
Yeah, our guys probably got sick of us talking about it, and it was a huge emphasis all throughout the week with everything we did. It wasn't just practice, it was meetings, and it was the weight room, and just everything had an up-tempo feel at the beginning of it. And as well as what we were talking about. And we did our best job that we have all year. And a lot of 3-and-outs, or a lot of forced punts by the defense, and offensively 2 long drives, and especially the first one, the ball started at the 9 and drove it all the way down, some key third downs and some explosive touchdowns to score, and it was 14-0, and it really set the trajectory for the game.
All right, let's start out by talking about that and talking about those first couple drives. They both ended with a Darrell Williams touchdown.
Yep.
Obviously, he continues to be an explosive force on offense. Tell us how the offense worked in those first few drives.
Really well. We credit our staff for a really good plan, as we've had every week, and our guys for executing it, and maybe the best couple string of offensive series that we've had all year. And what was able to happen is we were able to get them formationally into some situations that were better for us, offensively, and we're able to pick on some of those things, and our guys made plays. And the key thing in those drives is we converted on third downs, where we didn't do as good at that in the second half, but we converted on the third downs. We kept it going. We made plays. Quarterbacks did a great job of taking care of the ball. Again, no turnovers, and knew when to tuck it and run, and made some great throws, and Darrell obviously did a great job catching it, as did our other receivers and other facets of the game, and Jalen had some big catches at tight end, and so it was a great start to the game offensively.
All right, and obviously it was a big game because it was senior day. It was the last home game of the season, and I saw before the game you had all the seniors line up on the 15, and then you had a chance to kind of embrace the families and thank the seniors for what they've done. What was that moment like for you, first time here at Winona State?
Yeah, it was special. I think, I know every senior day is special. This one was special because that's the hardest time to have a change in who your head football coach is, and the staff and everything is going into your last year. And some of those guys just chose to come back. They didn't. They could have graduated and moved on with life. And I just basically told them I loved them and thanks for believing in us. And because we certainly believe in them. And really cool to just be there with a lot of their families. It was, all of them didn't have family there, but it's just a special moment. Somewhat unique because we still have 2 more regular season games after, but cool deal. And to be able to go 5-0 at home in their senior year, couldn't have ended any better for them.
Yeah, and especially beating some ranked teams and teams that were ranked before, so it was all a good thing. All right, I do have to ask about one kind of negative thing, I guess, but it was the running game. It wasn't there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't there for Augustana either, so it was 2 really good defenses. But tell us a little bit about what that was like to not have that facet of the game working.
Yeah, anytime you play good football teams, this happens sometimes. They take something away, right? And I think both teams did a great job. I think we had 70 yards rushing, they had 30. So really good job of stopping the run. And I think what we got more in as the game went on was more pressure. They were sending more people towards the line of scrimmage, which makes it harder to run because there's more people up there, and then playing a lot of man coverage. And we missed on some of the throws, and we didn't catch some of them, and they made good plays on some of them. So that, such is life in the game of football. When something gets taken away, you got to start to find answers and figure out other ways to do it. And, we didn't play as good on offense in the second half as we did in the first half. And we got to get better. And that's our job this week. And credit to how we started to get us up. So it wasn't, 0-0 when we were struggling to run the football.
Now, both quarterbacks were the leading rushers for the respective teams, which was kind of odd and rare. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But tell us a little bit about what you saw in Trevor Paulson specifically, because he was obviously the leading rusher for the Warriors, and his decisions to run the ball. Obviously, a lot of it is flush out of the pocket, got to run, but there were a couple designed runs that Trevor ran as well.
Yeah, he does. Trevor does a good job of just playing with some maturity and moxie and knowing when a good time to tuck it and run is. He's just been around the game. Now, certainly way deeper into the season than we could say, early in the year. But there were a few where it's a read play where if the DN does this, I do this. If this linebacker does this, I keep it. So there were some read plays where he kept the ball, which is designed for either the back or him to keep. And then the ones where he's scrambling, it's just instinct. I'm about to get sacked, or I don't have room to throw, or there's nobody I can't throw it away, but here's a lane. And that's one of the most disheartening things for a defense is when you have good coverage and the quarterback scrambles for a first down, and he did that a number of times.
I got to ask about the defense next, because it was an impressive defensive display by the Warriors and has been for the past couple of weeks. If you look at the stats, and I don't remember exactly what it was, I think late in the fourth quarter I looked, and if you take away what the quarterback ran, the running backs for Augustana ran for maybe 2 or 3 yards, which is amazing. How do you feel about this defense heading into the final weeks of the season?
Really excited because we're getting better. That we're a better defense than we were week 1 against Minot. And I can say for the most part, every week we made strides in some area. I think you saw an almost complete game by the defense. We obviously had the busted coverage with the quarterback scramble, and they threw the touchdown, which was obviously discouraging at the time. But what the defense did really well, besides taking away the run, they took the ball away, key interceptions, stopping momentum. They obviously had the pick six, the forced field goal at the end of the half was critical to not give up any points, and they forced the miss there. And then third down, we're 75% on third down getting off the field, and that's a pretty respectable day for a defense. And really proud of our staff and them, and we got to go do it again this week.
I got to ask specifically, obviously Mitch Snicker was on the show last week, and right after we taped, we found out that he was Defensive Player of the Week. Maybe that'll be the same for Clay Scheffner. He had a big game too. But the guy that I want to talk about is Akena Ujuagu. My goodness, the last couple of weeks, the way that he has played, and especially with the pick six against Augustana, what have you seen from him this week?
We've seen a new gear out of Ike, and it's been really cool. Like, he has stepped up his game, and it's shown. And super excited for him because he's been able to do some of the things that we've known he's been capable of doing, and he's doing it. And that's why he's playing more, and he's making more plays, and it's huge. Both those interceptions are huge, but especially his to go score. In momentum, times where momentum could have gone either way because the offense was struggling a little bit or we had just given up the score. Great job by him.
And then Corey King, the senior, gets 2 sacks in the game. Showed a lot of emotion on the field after he gets those 2 sacks. Talk about his performance too. Corey
is a special player, special person, special leader. Really meant a lot to him and to us to have him have success out on the field on senior day, and did a great job getting after the quarterback. And we still argue that one of those sacks, it was a fumble, but they didn't call it that. So love his energy and passion, and that he could have been gone long ago, meaning graduated, but he's chose to stick around, and really cool.
And I know he helps out during basketball season too. I see him along press row, so it's always good to see him. Hopefully we see him again this year. All right, thank you for that, and congratulations again on the game.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, the player perspective, Darius Manuel from the defense first, right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates Certified Public Accountants and Advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We're at the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona, and we're brought to you by Russell & Associates. Now time to talk with Darius Manuel, who returns to the show. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Huge defensive battle this week, and you took away almost all phases of the game for Augustana. What was it like on the field this week?
I mean, it was a really tough, hard battle. They were bigger than us and supposedly were stronger than us, but as you can see as a result, we just kind of go out there, do our thing. As long as we play our brand of football, discipline, defense, we really pride ourselves on, we don't care how big you are, we don't care where you're from, we're just going to go out there and do everything that we can in our power to stop you. It doesn't matter.
You put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Tell us a little bit what it was like to do that this week.
It was really fun, honestly. I really like challenging myself to be able to get past people any way, shape, or form. If I have to use my speed, power, strength. And there's guys, my fellow defensive linemen that help me out be able to do that as well, open up rush lanes for me. But at the end of the day, it is pretty fun.
And then talk about being able to shut down the running game for Augustana. Like I said to Coach, when I looked at the stats, if you take away what the quarterback did scrambling, I think the running backs were held to single-digit yards rushing, which is unheard of really in any form. What's that like for you guys to stop?
We really pride ourselves on, we are a run-stopping defense. You can throw the ball, and we're still going to be able to go up, get interceptions, go out and get sacks, but we really pride ourselves on, you do not run the ball between the A gaps and the B gaps. You can bounce it, you do anything like that. Some of us D tackles, we're quote-unquote undersized and stuff like that, but we don't really care. We really pride ourselves on putting our head down and working hard, and you're just going to have to either go through us or go around us, and you're not going through us. So.
All right, so you keep saying that people are calling you undersized. So what is it like then to face off against maybe a bigger, supposedly stronger offensive line and to be able to have the success that you're having? What are some of the things that overcome that size and strength difference?
I don't know. Honestly, I've kind of always been undersized, so I really pride myself in I don't really care how big you are. And I kind of feel like my teammates are the exact same way. And we're not all undersized, and we're all still pretty big dudes, but I don't know. It gets pretty fun out there with us running around, running through people.
All right, talk about last week you were able to beat a top 15 team in the country. Augustana had been ranked before, and you were able to beat them as well. Talk about what that's like to be able to beat a team that's in the rankings, and now you guys are starting to move up in the rankings.
Oh man, I can't even put that into words. It really shows all the work that we put in, because it starts with off season and being on time to lifts, and even the little itty bitty things going to class on time and stuff like that. And I know it sounds real cliche, but it really is paying attention to all the little things and making sure that you really cross your T's and dot your I's.
Well, and that's going to be even tougher now because you have 2 games on the road to finish out the season, and then possibly maybe postseason. We're not going to talk about that too much. But so what do you need to do to plan for classes and just life in general with 2 road games coming up that you're going to be missing a lot of time?
Honestly, it's just that you're not going to get that full week of preparation, so you're not going to be able to sleep in your own bed and stuff like that. So prepare for road stuff. So getting ready earlier, getting yourself more prepared earlier, because you're not going to have all the utensils and everything you need just sitting right at home for you. So just honestly being overly prepared and making sure that you're mentally ready to be able to go out on a bus, get off the bus, go out and perform.
So how much does that matter, playing on the road versus playing at home? And when does that maybe switch where all of a sudden you don't think about it anymore?
Honestly, you just kind of get up and say, hey man, like you practice every day, just like the first 4 days of your week are the same exact thing every single week. And I mean, that last day you either practice at a normal time or practice earlier and get on a bus. So for us, it's just kind of you get up, make sure you get everything done, get everything ready on time, and you just know exactly where you're supposed to be at.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time. Congratulations on what you've done so far this season, and good luck the last 2 weeks.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, we'll talk offense with Dakota Matthews right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors had the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates Certified Public Accountants and Advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Russell & Associates, and we're coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. We'll talk a little offense now with Dakota Matthews, and thank you for joining us here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Unfortunately, not able to play this year, so tell us a little bit about that. You suffered an injury. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, we were going through spring ball, and it was, I think, our sixth practice in, and I caught a ball in the open field and just tried to make a cut back, and it hyperextended my leg, and it felt a pop, and then I didn't think anything of it. I just thought I just tweaked it a little bit, so I sat out for a couple plays, and then it felt fine at the time being because there's adrenaline going through your body. So I practiced the rest of the day, and then after practice ended, I was like, oh, something ain't right. I went into Stacy, and it was blowing up like a balloon. So she said, might be a meniscus. Went in, had MRI, and ended up tearing my meniscus, blowing it out completely, and then had to wait a little bit to get surgery and had a repair. So that's what's taking so long.
Okay. So what's the recovery process been like then for you?
It's been long. So it started, I was on full crutches. The surgeon said if I woke up with a brace on my leg, it was gonna be a long time, and I ended up waking up with a brace on my leg, of course. So it was like 2 months on crutches, and then I had to walk around with one crutch, and then had a brace on, and I think it was last week actually I just got cleared to finally start jogging again. So it's been a great feeling now, being able to do everything I could before, but obviously at a slower pace for now.
Sure. Coach Bergstrom was saying when he suggested that you come on the show that you'd kind of been acting like a coach on the field for the other players. So when was that kind of first pitched to you, and when did you decide that you wanted a little bit of that kind of coaching thing on the sidelines?
Well, Coach always preaches, if you're not in, make the most of what you can. So at first I was like, oh, this sucks. That's everybody's reaction. But as it goes on, you can only get down on yourself for so long. So after a while, I was like 2 or 3 practices, I go, I'm not going to be this negative guy anymore. So I just kind of took it and looked at it as, all right, when it was my first year, what did I struggle with, and how can I help these younger guys step up and make some plays and help them coach to where it's easier and clicks right away. So I just took that and ran with it and just started helping out the younger guys, especially the freshmen. We got a good freshman class coming in right now, and got some great guys that want to be better, and they take everything I say with a grain of salt and just go with it, even if it's sometimes a little hard on them, but it's good because then they can handle it from other coaches too when it's harder coaching.
So how much are you able to do, or how much do the coaches let you do out on the field?
Oh, it's just Indian stuff. I'll just come over there and help them out, and then obviously when we have a game going on, the coaches aren't there to watch everything, so I stay there, and on the sideline for home games and stuff, I'll look specifically at our group, see what I can see on the field, ask Jalen, T-John, or Zerp or Quinny when he gets into what they're seeing and what they're feeling, and then I base it on what I see and tell them, like, this is what I'm seeing, you can go with this, or you can just keep doing what you're doing too, because usually what they're doing works. But if there's anything easier that I see that will help them out, I just usually tell them that.
So what is it like then on the sidelines to kind of see the game going on and you're not able to participate in it?
It was tough right away. I I feel bad more for like Tyler Anderson.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I came in, he was one of the first people I met, and he was just a great mentor and leader to me. And seeing him going through his last season, not being able to play, is tough. So I think I always just go in my head. It can always be worse. It can always be worse, 100%. So on the sideline, as far as that, I just usually just try to step up, make sure everybody behind me is there to cheer on the team, so we don't just have people stand on the sideline as well and backing up our defense when they're out there.
So you have a couple more years left, 2, I don't know, maybe even 3 with the COVID year. Is it 2?
Yep, it's 2.
So, I mean, what's the outlook for you after this season is done, the prep work to get ready to go back out on the field again?
I'm just excited to get back out. Everything I can do, I'm going to do, and I have been doing as much as I can. Just don't want to push too hard to where it irritates it and could have more problems down the road. So just taking it one step at a time.
All right, and then the final question is, had coaching kind of been in your mind? Is this maybe the start of something once your playing career is over?
It's never really crossed my mind, but as it goes on, as the season's gone on, I've grown to enjoy it a lot more. But you never know, stuff can happen. So.
All right, what are you studying in school?
Just business administration right now. I'd like to go be an electrician someday, so just get the business side of things down and then probably go to trade school or talk to my buddy in town here.
All right, very good. Maybe we'll see you on the sidelines with Eric Berth on the Winona High sidelines again.
Oh boy, that'd be something.
All right, thank you for the time and good luck to the team for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, we'll talk with head coach Brian Bergstrom about Upper Iowa. That's this week's opponent right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates certified public accountants and advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
Food, shelter, fast internet. It's all we really need. Good thing HBC has the fast, reliable internet it takes to power all the Wi-Fi hungry gadgets in your home, all at once. With speeds like these, get smooth HD streaming video, gaming, music, and surfing, all with no waiting, no buffering, no kidding. You want it. You need it. Get it. Call or click hbci.com and upgrade your internet today.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Russell & Associates and coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. Kind of wrap up this week and wrap up the home season because now that is over, and as you said, 5-0 in the home season. What was your first season like at Maxwell, and with all the things that surround everything and the fans and everything? What was the home season like for you this year?
It was fun. And we had much better weather the later in the year we went, so the crowds got better, and some of the teams we were playing had better records. And but my highlights was certainly the homecoming game, just in terms of the environment, and the game day experience was electric, and it's a special place, and it's special because of the tradition and people, and just such a long-standing tradition at Maxwell Field. All the games that have been played there, and in that area of campus, I mean, right there, is humbling to be a part of it now, and it's also a home field advantage. It's hard to play there. It's unique. Fans are in spots that they normally aren't at a stadium, and they're close. And when that train track end is hard to play in, and we've had a lot of good plays, our football team, on that end. And when the train goes by, it's loud. The students are loud. It's a special place.
I want to ask you about facing off against former schools, former coaching mates, I guess you would say. And I didn't want to ask you last week because I just wanted to let that sit. But I mean, you were a coach at Augustana before. And so what was it like to be on the other sideline competing against guys that you were, arm in arm with before?
Yeah. So I was at South Dakota State for 5 years. So I was removed from Augie for 5 years, which made it easier because only a handful of the players I knew, which is crazy that they're still there because of COVID, but recruited them. Most of the coaches are still the same, and Coach OJ is one of my best friends and mentors in the profession. And so that was really cool just to be able to compete against them. We cheer for each other 364 days a year, and for one day we're not cheering for each other. And so we didn't talk last week. He was excited that we beat USF because they're such rivals. But relationships kind of go with you regardless of where you are when they're strong. And whether you're in a different league or people get out of coaching or you're going against each other, you can compete your butt off and do everything you can to win a football game and still have great relationship with people. And fortunately, Coach OJ and I are able to have that, and the staff. So it was a special day.
You know, when we broadcast the game and we see something like that, we always say, well, there has to be some advantage. And really, I guess it's on both sides because they know you, you know them.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any advantage to having coached somewhere else alongside somebody, and then when you play them, you kind of know their tendencies, you know what they're going to do?
I think there's a little bit. I think it's reduced by the amount of time you're away. So the 5 years, a lot can change by both sides. But I would agree that it's dual-sided. Like, they know the type of defense that I believe in and the type of defense we played there and here and at South Dakota State. So they know that, but I also know that, I mean, we practiced against each other. Coach Schrenk, who's the offensive coordinator there, I know kind of some of his tendencies, at least, 5 years ago, but a lot of that stuff's pretty deep-rooted, and if you believe in it, you believe in it. Things change, so I think there is, but it kind of goes both ways. So I don't know that one team stands for a much better advantage.
Okay. Let's look ahead then to this week. It's Upper Iowa. Obviously, they have not had a very good season, and I think that's difficult because then that rival is the next week, and we won't talk about them. But how hard is it then to just focus on this game and to know that, you travel to Fayette this week and you have to face off against this opponent who I'm sure you feel that you're better than.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do feel like we're better than, and we do feel like they could beat us. If we don't come to play and they play well, and it helps that every single week it's our approach that this is the only game that matters. So now for in week 10, our guys are hearing it again. This is the only team that matters. It's a 1-game season against the faceless opponent, and this is what they do. And the big emphasis is we have to grow. We have to grow this week, and we had to last week and the week before. But you're battling human nature. You're exactly right, because human nature says we're at the top, they're at the bottom, we can show up and we can win. That's human nature. But that nature doesn't win championships. And we've talked about all year, we don't talk about winning a championship, we talk about behaving like a champion. And champions behave like champions before they ever win a championship. And so those things we're constantly talking about, and all that matters is Upper Iowa. It doesn't matter. I don't even know who we play the next week. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. We have about 2 minutes left in this segment. So what are the things you have to worry about against Upper Iowa? What are the things that they've done well this season?
Well, I think they're very well coached, and they play really hard. And it's not an easy trip to go down there. We go the day of. We don't stay in a hotel overnight, and it's a noon game, so our guys are getting up early. It's just a different routine, and they're in the right spot. They do the right thing. They play hard. They don't quit. They're well coached. Do they have as much talent as Augie or USF or Bemidji? Maybe not. But that doesn't mean that they don't want to win and that they're not going to take pride in trying to knock us off 100%. Like, that's their motivation now, right? Like,
right.
Let's go beat them. Let's ruin their season. So we can't let that happen.
All right. Well, thank you for the time this week. Good luck against Upper Iowa, and congratulations on what you've done so far.
Appreciate it, Justin.
All right. Thank you. We're going to say goodbye for this week. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week to talk about this Upper Iowa game right here on HBC TV 25.